Elestral's newest set, Moonrise, is now out, and with it came the release of the 2-cost invoke rune, No Stone Unturned. This says, search your deck for a golem elestral and add it to your hand. And guess what is a golem? That's right, the liths. So today, we'll be playing Lith Beatdown. To start off the deck, we have one copy of Lavalith. Lavalith is a 6/4 2-drop that says this Lavalith can be normal cast with 2 fire spirits if an opponent has at least 2 or more enchanting spirits than you do. When you cast this Lavalith, you can target and destroy a rune. Not only is Lavalith a big body that you can slap on the board when you're behind, but you also get the value of destroying a rune for it. This card is already limited, so the fact that we pretty much get to play 2 of them with No Stone Unturned is extremely strong. Next up, we have one copy of Arcalith. Arcalith is a 6/4 Thunder Elestral that says this Arcalith can be normal cast with 2 Thunder Spirits if an opponent has at least 2 Elestrals in attack position. When you cast this Arcalith, you can enchant up to 3 spirits from your underworld to your field. Arcalith can easily just drop and win the game on its own late game, so it's already been limited to 1. With its potential to be searched out by No Stone Unturned, we can easily end games right on the spot as long as we have 4 spirits towards the end of the game, let alone the fact that we are playing a decent amount of Thunder in this deck, so we can utilize Arcalith to re-enchant some of our Thunder stuff. Next up, we have one copy of Aviolith. Aviolith is a 4/6 2-drop wind elestral that says this Aviolith can be normal cast with 2 wind if an opponent has at least 2 or more face down runes. When you cast this Aviolith, you can draw a card for each face down rune on an opponent's field. So if they try to play around Lavalith by setting multiple runes, you can easily just drop an Aviolith and draw for however many runes that are sitting on their back row. Extremely strong card that will allow us to just have a good chunk of draw power. And the last Lith we'll be playing is one copy of Verdalith. Verdalith is a 3/7 2-drop Earth Elestral that says this Verdalith can be normal cast with 2 Earth Spirits if an opponent has at least 4 more spirits in their spirit deck than you do. When you cast this Verdalith, you can return up to 4 Earth Spirits from your underworld to your spirit deck. One thing that's really nice about Verdalith is early game, if you've already got 2 Earth Spirits in your spirit deck and you play No Stone Unturned, you can easily just slap down a Verdalith and recover all of the spirits, essentially making your No Stone Unturned free for the turn. Since we are playing a decent amount of Ascension Elestrals, we want to make sure that we don't brick, and in order to help us do that, we'll be playing 3 copies of Aster Rabbit. Aster Rabbit is a 2/5 Thunder Elestral that says when this Aster Rabbit receives 1 or more Thunder Spirits, you can look at the top 3 cards of your deck, add 1 to your hand, and shuffle the rest into your deck. Aster Rabbit's extremely strong due to its big booty and its ability letting you search for the most advantageous card for the situation. Aster Rabbit's almost always included as a 3-of, and in a deck where we can easily brick, we really need this consistency piece. Now obviously we can't just play a bunch of 2-drops and hope that every situation that works out for them arises. So in order to supplement the rest of the Elestrals, we'll be playing an Earth Core featuring one copy of Equal Links. Equal Links is a 4/3 1-drop Earth Elestral that says you can Nexus up to 2 Earth. When you do, target and destroy a rune. So this is just more rune removal that you can utilize for the back row. Playing against Earth, they almost always want to set 1, and Equal Links will easily destroy that, along with your Lavalith. Up we have 2 copies of Viserys. Viserys is a 4/2 Earth Elestral that says this Viserys gets +1 attack for each Viserys on the field. When this Viserys destroys an Elestral in battle, you can special cast a Viserys from your hand or deck in defense position. This card is already pretty strong due to the fact that as long as you destroy an Elestral, you can easily utilize that Elestral as a 2-for-1 summon, essentially, by summoning out your other Viserys. In this deck, I believe Viserys is even stronger as long as you know you have the ability to protect the defense position Viserys that comes out. You can easily misenchant it and utilize that second Viserys to ascend over to play one of your Liths if you're in a position where you can't play them at the moment. So Viserys is an extremely versatile card in this deck, actually. Next up, we have 2 copies of Constilation. A 4/1 Earth Elestral that says this Moss Station gets +2 attack for each Earth enchanting it. During your end phase, you must change this Moss Station to defense position if it attacked this turn. So Moss Station essentially comes out as a 6 attack beat stick every single time. Not to include the fact that every single time you put more Earth on it, this thing gets more and more powerful. So you can easily utilize its ability as an actual upside with the fact that we're playing Altar of Stars, and you can trick somebody into attacking your 1 defense Moss Station, utilize Altar of Stars to change Moss Station's position and put another Earth Spirit on it, make it an 8 attacker, and have their Elestral just swing right into it and destroy itself. Moss Station is extremely strong, and one thing that I haven't even mentioned about it, it's also a golem, so we can search this out with no stone unturned. Our next Elestral is also a golem, with 2 copies of Tectorus. Tectorus is a 3/2 that says this Tectorus gets 1 attack for each Earth enchanting the field. So that means both yours and your opponent's, so Tectorus can become a large monster to deal with. Place it with simply a fully forest and Tectorus becomes a 6 attack beater. Let alone if you have any spirits on a Demeter, this thing can easily start to take out Dracorays, Asperals, or anything of that nature. If you have a large board state, this thing can even start to take out Blistrix and Voltempest. Tectorus is an extremely strong card that's kind of fallen out of favor, but with a lot of big guys coming back into the meta, I would look out for Tectorus. While this next Elestral isn't necessarily an Earth Elestral, it is still needed for our Earth core, with 2 copies of Jolton. Jolton is a 4/2 Thunder Elestral that says when you normal cast this Jolton, you can search your deck for a Stadium Rune and add it to your hand. Jolton is extremely strong in this deck, allowing us to either utilize Fully Forest as a Nexus Bank for our Equal Links, or just powering up our Elestrals with the Fully Forest. So Jolton is extremely crucial because we need to regularly find it. And our last Elestral is 1 copy of Elechick. Elechick is a 4/1 Thunder Elestral that says when you normal cast this Elechick, you can search your deck for a Divine Rune. Demeter in this deck is extremely critical for us to always be able to find, so playing Elechick is extremely strong in this deck. We would play more, but unfortunately Elechick is limited to 1 due to how strong it is, so we're only playing 1. Now moving on to our runes, we'll be playing 2 copies of Demeter. Demeter says when you cast this Demeter, you can enchant up to 3 Earth to it. You can disenchant 1 Earth from it to give an Elestral +3/+3 until the end phase. Demeter is extremely strong in this deck for multiple reasons. 1, it's a Nexus Bank for Equal Links. 2, being able to buff your Elestrals and just have them win on combat is extremely strong. And 3, the fact that our Tectorus gets buffed for each Earth Spirit on the field means that simply playing this Demeter and full loading it will give our Tectorus a +4 attack. I'll be honest, the majority of the time you're not going to fully load it, but still the option is there to do so. Next, we have 2 copies of Fully Forest. This is here for a few reasons. I mean, first and foremost, obviously to make our Elestrals bigger to help win combat. Secondly, we can utilize this as a Nexus Bank with Equal Links. And third, a lot of people are currently playing stadiums right now, such as the Lunar Aggro deck, so just having the ability to play it out and shut off your opponent's stadium is extremely strong. Even if you're not necessarily going to need it, the option is still strong to have. And we have our 1 copy of No Stone Unturned. We've already kind of talked about this a lot, but being able to search out any of the liths plus your Moss Station or Tectorus is extremely strong and versatile in this deck. But the fact that it costs 2 and we need to run a lot of other stuff, it can kind of get clunky if we're running a lot of them, so we're only going to be running 1. Then we have 1 copy of Earthquake. We already play Earthquake in literally every single deck anyways, and we throw the Earth Spirits in there in order to play Earthquake because unconditional removal is just that strong. So if we're already playing an Earth-based deck, it's kind of a no-brainer to just throw the Earthquake in there. We'll also be playing 1 copy of Resting on Your Laurels, because this is extremely cheap removal that will allow you to come back from bad situations. And we're already playing a decent amount of cards that have us come back, so resting on your laurels fits right in with the theme of this deck a little bit. And to finish off the invoke runes, we'll be playing our 3 mandatory copies of Ambrosia. Ambrosia is extremely busted due to the fact that everything in this game costs your life to play. So healing is obviously extremely strong, so we're always including 3 Ambrosia in the decks. To finish out the deck, we have our slew of counter runes with 3 copies of Gorgon's Gaze to say no to literally anything that an opposing Elestral might even think about doing. We've got 3 copies of Poison Tipped Arrow for the -2 attack to possibly save some of our Elestrals and the hard removal factor of it. We've got 3 copies of Shield of Achilles to bounce opposing Elestrals back to hand as long as their name isn't Pharaohgeist. Got 2 copies of Altar of Stars to possibly prevent combat or do some shenanigans with Molestation to kill other Elestrals. Got 2 copies of Tsunami to finish off the deck in order to blank a battle phase that unless they're water enchanted. Now we'll be moving on to the Spirit deck, and believe it or not, it's actually a lot cleaner than you would expect with this deck. Starting off with 1 copy of Leviathan for our Tsunamis. We've got 2 copies of Lycanths for our Avioliths. We've got 2 copies of Vipyro for our Lavaliths. We've got 5 copies of Zaptor for our Thunder Core. And we've got 10 copies of Terratlas for the rest of the deck. What do you guys think of the deck? Is this something that you would run? Let me know down in the comments below. And let me know if there's anything that you're interested in seeing me build. If you're interested in content like this, be sure to like and subscribe as I do put out content like this daily. I hope you all have a good day, and peace.